Well, all of your corporate businesses, they have demographers that work for them, and they all track rooftops. And, it's all population based. And, I spent several years in the corporate restaurant world, and the Chili's and the Longhorns and the Macaroni Grills, the Olive Gardens, Red Lobsters, those restaurants, you're not even going to get on the map until you get to a certain population growth. You're not. Even with the restaurants that we have now are because we have internet access, so because you can't adequately staff those restaurants without a certain size city. And so until we get the rooftops, we're not going to get that Target shopping center. We're not going to get that, the secondary quality grocery store like a Kroger or a Home Depot. I mean, all those businesses are tracking the growth of the city, the trend of the city, and how many rooftops are within the city limits to see if there's enough people to actually support the business. So if you build the schools to where we can attract new families, then new businesses will follow. That's better for our retail customers, better for our retail businesses. We have more options for all of our citizens to eat, live, play.
Same thing you're in on, Jimmy?
I believe that strongly. And also, Tom Hill's job, recruiting new industry, right. Man, he takes them down there and shows them these new schools. It's a no-brainer. I mean, the people will sign on, they'll jump at the chance to come here because, this is the linchpin in the whole deal. The schools is the linchpin in this whole community. It ties it all together.
The thing I hear from people, Dr. Holladay and Ronnie, is why does Athens need a new school?
Well, personally,
bottom line, simple question.
Yeah, and I hope we've explained it. In my opinion, it is the linchpin, like Jimmy Bryan said. It pulls your entire community together. I think our whole country was built on public education. The fact is, I think part of it is the word TAX. It's tax, and I understand that, but I do believe that this is, again, an economic development project. I think it is an area where if you really want to grow your community, and I've said, I've had people to tell me that if you pass the new schools in the next few years, I think you'll grow your community by 10,000 people. That attracts business, that attracts people to your station, that attracts people to our communities, that again attracts people to our churches, our neighborhoods, and I believe it all just fits together. I think it's so easy to look under the microscope and be critical of one issue when you don't take the whole picture, and I just think it's important for that, Jamie.
Well, I know you're all about quality of life.
I am.
And that's your number
exactly
one
right.
deal.
Quality of life and public safety. Public safety in our community is the top priority that we have, and supporting the families where they can clothe and feed their children and have them a good education and a good quality of life. And yes, that is what I believe.
Trey, when you first got here, you took a tour of the school system, but when you were looking at the job, what were your thoughts then?
I thought that the biggest thing that I saw whenever I was walking around were the people. The people of the school system were the most important thing, and they still are. So our teachers and our support staff is what really makes our school system. But what we're seeing within it, and our test scores are great, but what we're seeing in it is that we're losing quality families and quality students. We're going to still grow, but to maintain the quality of life, we've got to make sure we attract the top families to come live within our community.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the new school.
Sure.
We found the video, we have it back there and have it ready. So you unveiled that here 2 years ago, which was, by the way, an excellent rendition. I would have thought Kenny or Jimmy might have drawn this up on their computer to do it. Explain a little bit about this, and when would this, if the sales tax passes on August 25th, it is a vote yes, it is victorious, when could we see construction of something like this?
Well, I think you could see construction probably within 8 months. You could probably see dirt moving in less than that because we do have the plan in place, and it can be staged if we have to go to do something else. But what you would see here, and one of the feature focuses that we would have is that we found out that the people wanted a place to make sure, and it's required by law, place to make sure we could protect children. So we have it equipped with tornado shelters. We have it equipped with joint use facilities of a 850 black box theater that can be used for community and school use. We have it equipped with, and probably one of the biggest features for job development in the future is we have an engineering center in it that matches the robotics center down at Calhoun, so that it'll allow our kids to fluidly move from place to place. It's got a medical technology area in it and career tech that we can move our students into any type medical field for the future. So it's got every state-of-the-art part that we can, and we believe that it will sustain us for another 50 to 60 years. It's built for 1,250 students. So it's got growth potential in it, and people say, well, we're growing at the rate we are, we're going to grow more than that. And the thing we tell them is our current high school is for about 1,000 students, and we're only going to be moving 550. So if we have to move a freshman back across the street, we can as we grow. So it allows us to be able to grow, and we don't want massive high schools like some around us have. So we would probably have to look at doing a different plan if we grew that way. But the good part is that it allows us to catch up. We're running behind right now because of growth, and we don't have the structure. But if we had this, and we can save some money, and we have a savings plan for the future, that allows us to plan for the future.
Something like this, he just said, could be basically dirt being broken in 8 months. Kenny and Jimmy, what would this do for y'all's business and people like you that do this here?
You know, when the tax passes, it'll jumpstart. I think people say, okay, we've got new schools coming. Let's look at Athens now, and I think it just immediately it would affect this area.
Kenny,
I totally agree. I mean, like I said, I mean that's what's holding us back now. You know, we're losing home sales, you know, month in and month out to, like Jimmy said, you know, if this house was in Madison city limits where we could go to James Clemens or a new facility, you know, we would be here. But it would, as long as we could show them hope, even though they're 2 years out, 3 years out, as long as we could show them, hey, guys, the city's on board, we're fixing the system, it will start working immediately.
how are you handling, or what are you saying to these people that are continuously voicing their opinion that do not live in the city of Athens?
Well, you know, one of the things I say is that we clearly point that out. I mean, you know, there are outsiders that are coming in trying to tell, I guess you'd say, me and you and other people how they ought to think and feel and vote. And again, I want to go back to get the facts, look at your surrounding areas, look at the millage rate that you're paying and other people are paying, and then make a decision on what you're paying. We had a gentleman the other night at the political forum stood up and stated, spent his whole 5 minutes on ridiculing the efforts of the city of Athens toward voting on the school tax, and he's running for the state legislature. And he quoted the city of Madison having 8.5-cent sales tax. He quoted Huntsville having 8-cent sales tax, and how much we charge in sales tax while people are going over there to shop. And that's not even accurate information. And it takes less than 1 minute to Google that to find that out. Madison has been 9 cents for months now because Mayor Troy Trulock came to me and said, I got to build streets. I need to build streets and I need to build infrastructure. Huntsville has been 9 cents since 2013. And I'm not trying to get in a debate or discussion with these folks. I know how I'm going to vote, and I feel strongly about it.
To the people watching and are going to see this on YouTube and everything else, why, and I'm going to ask all you guys the same question, why do we need this tax vote?
Well, I'll let these guys start. I think
why do people need to vote yes, Jimmy?
Well, you know, it's an investment.
Hold that up, Brad, as we talk, as Jimmy and everybody explains.
It's an investment in our future. It's plain and simple. We're investing money so that our community will grow, and you know, you can't just sit in there and tread water. You just sink or swim. You can't just stay status quo. You got to move forward.
Kenny?
I just think it's to adequately run our city. You know, I think it's needed. You know, I just look at the cities around us that are collecting the millage is what we're collecting, and that's not what I have in my mind for Athens. You know, I just think that in order to grow and grow effectively, and like Dr. Holladay said, to recruit the right type of family to our community, we've got to have a better education system.
28 years ago, I graduated from Athens State University, and it used to be a long ways from Athens to Madison Square Mall, and that's where we went to eat. Now, it doesn't seem like there's one bit of difference from Athens to the Huntsville area, and it's becoming that way toward the Florence area. I think Athens sits at the greatest opportunity of any city in North Alabama to sit on 65 and 72 at the crossroads, that it could be the feature city of North Alabama if we have our educational system that matches what our city's growth and future is. So I think we have been a player in the game. If we don't make it, it will become, might become insignificant, but this will allow us to become possibly the player in the game. We've got everything we need. Industry is growing around us, but we've got to have the commercial and business development to go with it, and I got to produce students that can fill those jobs.
I think one of the things you just said earlier in this interview was the big businesses here are all supporting you, even though it's going to cost them a couple $100,000 more in taxes.
Sure.
Why is that, Mayor?
Well, I think they see the value in attracting people to your community. I think it's kind of a real no-brainer for them. When you go to Steel Case Management and some of the others, and they recognize the impact that it's going to have on them, and yet they stand up and say, this is important. This is important. And again, I'm very passionate about it. I think...
Not you.
Yes, I am. And I believe, you know, we have people say, well, why don't you do something about Madison and Huntsville annexing into Limestone County? Well, we've already been down that road. They'll never stop. They had a TIF the other night where they said they're going to have a certain percentage of people, and they're looking at 2 new school systems right now inside Limestone County in Madison, Huntsville.
All right, guys, I'm getting ready to wrap this up. Dr. Holladay, we got about a minute left in this. What else you got to say?
Well, it's an exciting time for us in the school system. I just got back from Dr. Bice, and one of the biggest things I think that hadn't even been revealed, I'm going to reveal it on your show, Jamie, is that Dr. Bice, we have a new school, Renaissance School, in our school system, and he has given us the green light to move forward. I actually have talked to Randy at the Bible School, and Dusty and I have talked at Lindsay Lane, and where their students take advantage of it, but we're able to synergize and work with the private schools now that we haven't been. Our school system is going to be the first statewide virtual school in the state. So we're having lots of opportunities, and this is the first time it's been revealed. We still got a little bit of ways to go to have everything, but we feel very confident that we will be able to sustain ourselves. And I will tell you, my target goal is to try to get this debt paid off as quick as we can. We got to finance it for 30 years. We don't have any choice on that. This is the plan we have. But if we can get it done earlier, we will get it done earlier. And I believe the citizens support it, and I believe the citizens will approve it.
Vote yes. There it is right there. Vote yes for our city schools, August 25th. Kenny, Jimmy, thank y'all for coming up. It's good to see y'all. Dr. Holladay, Ronnie, as always, a regular up here on the program. Put that graphic up one more time, Brad. Vote yes on the 25th. We'll keep y'all posted on that. We'll have some more comments about that next week. Thank you guys all for the support you do here from this great city of Athens. We'll get out here. Y'all have a great weekend. See y'all.